Hi, this is Tutor Nick P, and this is Quotes 30. Today we're going to look at a quote by George Washington, the first president of the U.S. And this is the quote, if freedom of speech is ever taken away, then dumb and silent we may be led like sheep to the slaughter. Yeah, so even way back at that time, they were very worried about freedom of speech. They were worried that somebody might try to take it away. We needed that to have a real government, to have a real country. So let's take a look. The quote stresses the importance of freedom of speech, and without it, we will become ignorant and easily led like sheep. Okay? Sheep are often used as a symbol to represent one who follows blindly without thinking. Yeah, remember, even on a farm, even a dog can lead sheep. You don't even need a human to lead sheep. Remember, with freedom of speech, anyone should be able to express one's ideas, whether you like it or not, unfortunately, or whether you agree with it or not, even if you want to say, well, I just wish they would shut up. you know, but technically that's freedom of speech. You don't have freedom of speech from people saying things that you like. You have freedom of speech. Freedom of speech guarantees the right that anyone can say what they want to say, whether somebody is offended by it or not. That's the way that's what freedom of speech actually means. Okay. And we go here, whether you agree with it or not. And if you start making exceptions to this rule, anyone can rationalize another reason to take away freedom of speech. So if you start making exceptions to this rule, so well, maybe you got freedom of speech here, but you don't have freedom of speech here in this situation or in that situation. Now, freedom of speech is freedom of speech. I think I even remember them talking about in colleges. Some colleges tried to make freedom of speech zones. According to the Constitution, according to this, you have freedom of speech. You have freedom of speech everywhere. That's the way it's supposed to be. So yeah, anyone can make a reason. Be careful of anyone who tries to silence someone by using excuses of hate speech. Got to be very careful with this term. First of all, it's hard to define. What is hate speech? Different people may have different ideas. What one person thinks is hate speech, another person may not think is hate speech. So it's very subjective to begin with. And again, it goes back to the point that, freedom of speech is freedom for people to say anything. Now, of course, hate speech should not be encouraged. It should, and if somebody does do something that you think is really terrible, you also have the freedom to criticize them. That's the way it should be. Everybody should be able to express their ideas. Claims of fake news. Well, I mean, it's okay for somebody to claim something is fake news, but don't just not listen to them. You should listen to everybody. And if you think it's worth your time, you should check it out on both sides. Or offending one's sensibilities. Well, this seems to be the way that they are trying to go to maybe take away your freedom of speech, saying somebody would be offended by it. Well, that's life. You can't protect somebody, 365 days a year, 24 hours a day from somebody who might say something that may offend them. That's what freedom of speech is. You have to learn to live with it, and most people usually do. Okay. Anyone can make such a claim, even the government. Yeah, so I mean, if you want to just go like with freedom of speech, a government could say, hey, you said something about us that's hateful, therefore you have a crime of hate speech. You can't do that. That's what communist countries have done in the past. This is why they've been criticized over the years so much, that people cannot say that. So you have to be very careful. It's kind of a double sword with freedom of speech. People might say things you don't like. You may not agree with them. You may wish they shut up. But that's what freedom of speech is. And, without it, again, just like Washington says, we become ignorant. We can be led like sheep. So it's important for our education. Hope you got it. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for your time.